What's up, Big Blue Nation, and welcome to the Wildcat Zone. I am your host, Daniel Bentley, and this is the last episode of Season 1 of the Wildcat Zone. This is episode 25. I know it's a little late. This video will come out Sunday, so you'll be watching this Sunday. It's been a week since the Cats seasons ended in the second round of the NCAA tournament. A bad, embarrassing loss to the Iowa State Cyclones, a 82-63 loss. This episode, I'm going to cover, my thoughts on the game. It's been a week. I've thought about it a lot. I was kind of under the weather earlier in the week, that's why I didn't really get a chance to make this episode until now. So I figured I would go ahead and give it a week, get my thoughts together, get any news together see what news comes out anyway about who's staying and who's potentially leaving, who's staying, who's going, who's quitting. You never know nowadays. But there's been a lot of news this week, and I will get into that. I will cover the game, like I said, give my thoughts on it. Then I will recap the season as a whole of year 2 under Mark Pope. And I will look ahead to next season, give my thoughts on what we need and how we cannot repeat the season that we just had. And got a couple of announcements at the end of the video of some other things I'll be covering in the summers whenever I will start another small little series. It still covers Kentucky-related sports. I will not be covering baseball because I don't know much about baseball. So basketball and football is kind of my two sports I mainly follow. But I will be cheering on the Cats this baseball season. They seem to be having a pretty decent season so far. So I like watching baseball. I just don't know much about it. Never really played it as a kid, other than 1 year in Coach Pitch, or one season in Coach Pitch, which I don't remember much. I was smaller. But I'll cover what I'm doing in the summer, and I'll cover football in the fall. This is when it'll get kicked back up. We'll do another special episode on April. I think it's April 18th is when the spring game is. I will be there at the spring game, and I'll give my thoughts afterwards, live from Kroger Field, if possible. Maybe I may have to wait, but I'll get some content to go in that video anyway. So yeah, before we get into it, so please like, share, and subscribe. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, the Wildcat Zone. So just give me a like, give me a comment, give me your thoughts on this last game and what you think we should do, who you think we should get next season, and what you think we need to do better. I know there's been a plethora of different things, blaming the coach, blaming the players. The season is what it is. It's in the books. We can't go back and change it. We had some highs. We had some lows, a lot of lows. But I was try to stay positive in this video. So let's jump right into it. So last Sunday, the Cats play Iowa State. They come out strong, and then Iowa State switches their defense up, and we look like we did not know what to do. It was like a culmination of everything that we've seen go wrong this season. Went wrong yet again. Teams exploiting that we don't have a true ball handler, which has really plagued us and been our kryptonite all season. Anytime a team plays really tight defense on this Kentucky team, they seem to fall apart. I thought we got over that hump Obviously, we did not, and the Cats end up losing 82-63. An early exit on a tournament, a pool that we had that I thought we could go on and run possibly, but maybe that's something special that I had mentioned at the end of every episode was the OA shot we had against Santa Clara. It's always going to stay with us. Everybody's going to remember Double O for that half-court bank shot that he made. He etched his name in the history books for that, and that highlight will be shown every March Madness probably from the next 10, 15 years. So maybe that was a special thing. I mean, it has to be because that's the only positive thing that's happened since then. So, yeah, we unraveled. We didn't know what to do. They pressured the ball. They doubled on the ball. We didn't know what to do. I mean, it was clear. There was no adjustments. There was nothing. We started out strong. We come out of the gates firing on all cylinders. I thought we were going to run away with it. And they called a timeout. Pope made a couple of subs. I didn't think were bad subs. But they changed their defense. And we did not change our offense. So my MVP for this game would be Denzel Aberdeen. It's only because he scored 20 points and he was still trying to make a comeback run for us to come back and win, but we just couldn't get past that defense. We just couldn't do anything. But he still did try, so I will give him the MVP for this game. I've said all season, when Aberdeen and OA don't pass the ball well, we normally lose the games. When they're your two leading scorers, we normally lose that game. And they're the only two in double figures, we lose that game. Kudos to them, to DA. He transferred from a national championship team to this Kentucky team and made it work for majority of the season, getting thrown into a point guard role. So kudos to him. He gets the MVP on the last episode. My spark plug player be Otega Owe. He played with 4 fouls for the majority of the game. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds. He was also trying to get something going, and there was nothing that we could do. They shut him down. They shut down everybody. Every shot was contested, whether it was a 3 or down there in the paint, and we couldn't do anything. And my clutch player would be Diabate with 4 points, 2 assists, and 3 rebounds. He first subbed in. It was clear it was gonna be a defensive kind of game, a physical game, and that's where he thrives at. So he gets the clutch player, even though we did not win. He is my clutch player of the game, and the game is what it is. I hate it that Kentucky basketball is over for another few months, and all we can do is just continue to support, because there's not going to be a coaching change. No matter how much people complain, there's not going to be. Mark Pope's going to be your coach next year or next season. So, do I think next season is make or break? Yes. If he has another bad season like this one, I would not give this season above a B, or maybe a C minus, all the way to a D plus. But he will be your coach next season. So all we can do is support, and he's one of our own. You got to remember that. I think this season he's just not. He didn't know how to coach these guys or to get these guys to understand how his coaching is. And I think that with your starting point guard going out again for the second year in a row, he didn't know how to adapt to that. And these guys couldn't really adapt to it. Because if you think last season, his first season, Lamont Butler went out for a shoulder injury, right? We had Jackson Robinson, a guy that came with him from BYU, that knew his system, knew how Pope wanted to play, and got everybody to buy into that. This season, he did not have that. I mean, yes, you had returners like Owe, Garrison, Chandler, and Noah, but Chandler and Noah had only played in it for 1 year. Same thing for Owe, same thing for Garrison. They'd only played in that type of system 1 year. Whereas Jackson Robinson, I think he had 2 years under his belt with Mark Pope. So I just think Coach didn't know. I don't want to say he didn't know how to coach this team, but he didn't know how to coach his team. I mean, that's the only best way I can put it. Maybe this would have been a different team if we had a healthy Jalen Lowe. Maybe. Maybe Aberdeen would turn into an OA 2.0, I guess you could say. A person that will go out there and get buckets. But he's going to get buckets for himself. He's going to get buckets. He's not going to make it for nobody. He's going to get his own. It's kind of what Owe does. But we made the mistake of not getting we had a backup point guard, but he ended up decommitting and going to, I think it was Washington, due to some scandaling issue or gambling issue, some scandal. He ended up, I think his name was Acadian Lewis. He ended up leaving right before Big Blue Madness and went to Washington. But we didn't get a backup point guard. And maybe Pope thought that Colin Chandler could turn into a point guard. But, I mean, I remember last season that was not a good idea. And maybe he has potential. I don't know. I do think Chandler's better at the 2 spot, 3 spot. But I really not defending Coach Pope because I've had my frustrations. But there's nothing I can do about it other than support. And I could also not watch the games, but I do because I love Kentucky basketball, just like each and every one of you. So, I mean, it is what it is. The postseason interview that he done with Tom Leach. I mean, I like some of it, but I also didn't like other parts of it. But it is what it is. He said the piece that he needed to say. And in that episode, he sounded like himself. That was the season 1 Coach Pope that I remember from season 1. All post-game shows this season, he did not seem like himself. He seemed like everything he wanted to say, he couldn't say because his hands were tied. I mean, he did get fined for saying what he did off camera after the Auburn game, but it is what it is. So I'm going to recap our season this year, a season that I thought, yeah, we were going to win a national championship. We were going to complete assignment number 9. We were going to hang that banner inside a Rupp. And from all the news that we heard, I mean, we heard we had a Ferrari. We spent supposedly $22 million on a roster. And, you know, we had a fully healthy team until the blue and white game when Jalen Lowe dislocated his shoulder. That really really worried me because we didn't really have a true point guard in the backup. So, I mean, we start off the season, we play Purdue in an exhibition match. The preseason number 1 rated team, and they come into Rupp, and we run them off the court. And I thought to myself, yeah, we're winning number 9 this year. And a couple days later, we play Georgetown, and we're winning majority of the game, and then we end up losing. Had me worried. And then you go through your cupcake teams that you get the first 3 games, and then we play Michigan State, and they run us off the court. No, we played Louisville first. That's what it was. It was Louisville. They started to run us off the floor, and we make a comeback, and then we end up losing by a few points. I mean, it stinks to lose the little brother, but it is what it is. They were shooting a lot. They were playing their best game of the season against Kentucky because they want to beat Kentucky because they're Louisville. They hate being second and everything. So it is what it is. They beat us. We got punked. The game I thought we'd go up there and mop the floor with them, but it was not the case. Then we play another big matchup was Michigan State, and they run us off the floor like I said earlier. Terrible game. We just looked like we didn't know what to do. It was a bad game, embarrassing game. Guys were arguing. It was not a good sight to see. Who was our next big matchup? I got the season over here. North Carolina. That's who our next big matchup was. In another game that we had won, and then we blew it there at the end. And the trend continues, right? We play Gonzaga. I think we played Gonzaga before that or after that. And they dismantled us and killed us in Nashville. It was basically a home game for us, and they dismantled us. And we did not look like a team. That was not Kentucky basketball. That was just some, I don't know what it was. I think a middle school team could have probably beat that Kentucky team by 40 that night. But Gonzaga got a statement win against us, and again, there was more worry in me. I was a lot more doubtful, especially after that game. But you never know with basketball. People can get hot at any time and stay hot. So we play North Carolina. We lose that in the last 3 minutes. North Carolina goes on a run, and we don't know what to do. And then we play Indiana, an old arch rival that we renewed another series with, and they come to Rupp Arena, and all the talk is Indiana's going to mop the floor with Kentucky and Rupp, and that didn't happen. I mean, it started out, we were losing, and we ended up coming back and beating the Hoosiers. And beating that kid that didn't want to come here because he didn't want to just be another player at Kentucky. He wanted to be a star, so that's why he went to Indiana. And they didn't even make the NCAA tournament. So he really made a name for himself. Good for him. I take that stuff kind of personally because, I mean, why would you not want to come to Kentucky? I mean, I understand Indiana is also a big-name program at basketball, but they've not been relevant for, I couldn't tell you when. So, I mean, it is what it is. They paid him more than us is what it comes down to at the end of the day. And, we beat Indiana, and then we play St. John's. Jaden Quaintance has his coming out game, and he looks fantastic in that game. He's blocking the ball, giving us a presence down low that we've needed. And I think, here we go. This is where we're going to turn it on. We beat St. John's in Atlanta, Catlanta. And then we started SEC play. We get blown out by Alabama, who was shooting the lights out. Keep in mind, it's hard to beat a team if they're hitting more than 12 threes a game. And we just couldn't guard the three-point line. It didn't seem like. I mean, Alabama ran the same play at least 15 times. But we ended up losing the season opener of the SEC. And then we lay an egg against Missouri the next game. A game we had won. And then again, the habits come again. 3 minutes to go, and we make dumb decisions, dumb passes. People are playing for themselves, and we turn the ball over, and we lose. And I believe it was after the Missouri loss, we went on a 5-game winning streak. I mean, we beat Mississippi State. Only good player they got is Josh Hubbard. And the rumor is he could potentially come to Kentucky next season, which I would not hate because he can score and he can create for other guys. So we've seen it the past 3 years. I mean, heck, his first year, him and Reed Shepherd were just like trading buckets that entire game. And, I mean, respect to him. I think he scored like 30 or 40 points that night. But he's a baller, man. He can score, and I hope he comes here. It's a rumor. I don't know how true, but there's been some things lining up. If you follow social media, things are kind of suspicious. So he might be coming. So if he does, I will welcome him with open arms. He's a baller. But we beat Mississippi State. And we, let's see here. It was Mississippi State. We win at the buzzer against LSU. We get the Bayou Miracle or the Malachi Miracle, Moreno Miracle, whatever you want to call it, last second shot. We come back and beat the LSU Tigers or at LSU. A game we probably shouldn't have won, but we did. On the Leitner play, as they say. Malachi gets a great ovation from the fans. He etches his name into Kentucky basketball history, so kudos to him. And so does Colin Chandler for making the amazing across-the-court pass to him. And then we play, I believe that says Tennessee. The Volunteers in Knoxville, which has been a historical hard place for us to play because we're their Super Bowl. They're a rival. And Tennessee was kind of a back and forth game. We come out semi-hot. Tennessee cranked up their defense. They were getting everything they wanted in the paint. And we come back, the Cardiac Cats. I think the episode title was the Cardiac Cats Silenced Knoxville, because we came back and won in the last 2 minutes. And had a great defensive stance in the last 10 seconds of the game that won us the game. We shocked the Vols in Knoxville. Then we go on to beat Texas. And then we go on to beat Ole Miss and Travis Perry. And then we go to Vandy. And then we get ran out of the gym in Nashville for the second time in the season. And, the sky's falling. We don't know what to do. And we bounce back. Forget who we played after Vandy, but we end up bouncing back. And we beat Oklahoma Brandon Garrison and OA have the game of their lives against their one is a former rival and the other one is a former player of the Oklahoma Sooners. And it was BG time that night, evidently. And then the Vols come back to Rupp, and we celebrate the 1996 team, Pope's championship team from 1996. They wear the denim uniforms, and we have a comeback win again against the Vols and upset them yet again. So in my mind, I'm like, well, maybe there's something to this, right? So then we go to Florida. And it's like we could get so close to Florida and then they would shut the door. We would get so close, and they shut the door. I think we lost by 7 to them. It was at Florida, so it was a tough game. I was thinking they're going to come to Rupp, and we're going to bring the BTA. It did not happen. We played Georgia, a team we should have beat. We lose to them. Again, old habits rearing their ugly head again. We have the game won, and in the last 3 minutes, we end up losing. Excuse me. And then we go to Auburn and lose the game on what I call a terrible push-off foul. Another game we had won, and then we let them come back. Old habits rear their ugly head again. And Chandler gets called for a crappy push-off foul that wasn't really a push-off foul in my eyes because the guy was already falling, but it is what it is. The refs called it. We lost by 1 to the Auburn Tigers, a team that we should have beat, that we had beat, and we let them claw their way back in. And so then, playing at South Carolina in a tough game, we end up beating them on the road. We beat Vandy at home pretty well. We handled Vandy pretty well. A lot better than what we did in the first matchup. We kind of ran them off the floor. They had a bad shooting day, and we had a good shooting day. And then we lose to A&M in a game that we started out hot, and I don't know what happened. Substitutions, people can say substitutions. I think we played into their game plan, which is to run, get you discombobulated, and they thrive off of that. Another team we should have beat. I mean, we didn't. We had everything in the world to beat them, but once we got discombobulated, we didn't know what to do. Then we play Florida, the last game of the season, and we lose yet again to the Gators. SEC play, we get LSU in the first round. We beat them again. We get the Missouri Tigers again, and we get some revenge on them. And then we play the Gators yet again. And again, it was like the first 2 games. It's like we could never take advantage. And in that game particularly, they were kind of giving it to us. I mean, they had, I think at the end of the game, 15 turnovers. We should have won that game. With however many turnovers they had, we should have won that game. But they ended up beating us. Again, it's hard to beat Kentucky 3 times in a row. And Todd Golden done it and let everybody know. But then he got dog walked by Vandy in the next game. So the basketball gods righted the wrong, I guess you could say. Karma is a jerk sometimes, I guess. Then we get into the NCAA tournament. We get matched up. We're a 7 seed. Matched up with Santa Clara. Everybody has us losing. And OA has his moment. Ties the game up and goes into overtime, and we end up beating them. In a game that, we very well could have lost. I thought it was over. They busted that 3, and I was like, we're going to go out in the first round again to some no-name school. And then OA hits the buzzer beater. And just like everybody else in Big Blue Nation, we're all freaking out. And it was an awesome, awesome comeback victory, I guess you could say. Emotions were high. And then we lay an egg against Iowa State. So, that's a season recap by me. We had, every time we lost a game, it was because of selfish play. It was OA and Aberdeen trying to get theirs. We didn't pass the ball. That goes into selfish play, I guess. And, teams would crank up their defense and we'd act like we didn't know what to do. We didn't brave the storm. Tennessee done it to us, and we braved the storm and come back and beat them. Caught them slipping, got some turnovers. Now, Tennessee this season has been bad in the second half with turnovers, and we took advantage of that. And I'm glad we did because, I live in Tennessee, and every time they beat us, it's like they won the Super Bowl. It don't happen very often in basketball anyway, and I didn't have to hear about it, so I'm glad that we swept them. But it just stinks that we couldn't have played them the other night, again, for the third time. But like I said, this season has been what it is. It's had highs when we go on a 5-game winning streak. You got to go on a 6-game winning streak to win the national championship. And we just couldn't do it. The old habits would come back up. Guys not wanting to pass the ball. I'm just glad they quit arguing on the sidelines and yelling at each other. I went to I think it was Georgia State is who they played. And you could just tell this team was they weren't really gelled or connected. And you could tell it just by their body language and how they acted on the bench, how they acted during shoot around. I've been to many Kentucky games, and guys always, the teams that I've seen in person, they always have, you could tell who's in what cliques together, I guess you could call it. But it was like that game in particular, you could just tell on the sidelines, they just didn't, not that they didn't want to be there, but it was just like they didn't know how to take each other, I guess. So I'm glad that fixed itself towards the end of the season, and I'm glad they gelled. And you had your 3-headed dragon or 3-headed goat or whatever it was OA called them, with Chandler, OA, and Aberdeen. And when them 3 were playing great, and then you had Brandon Garrison playing great, and you had Modi Abate playing great, and Yelovich playing great, we were winning games. We had to have at least three of those guys out of all those playing really good games in order for us to win. And we just, a lot of the times, reverted back to the old habits all season. Just kind of like we did with recruiting, if you think about it. We got another hurt point guard that we didn't really have a backup for, so we had to plug the hole with somebody. And it's like defense, We couldn't handle high pressure defense, and that was this team's kryptonite. So I mean, it's another season in the books. It's year 2 in the books. It's in the past, and it stinks that the outcome is not what we wanted. But all we can do is support. We can complain about it, but there's nothing as fans that we can do to fix it. And the only thing we can do is continue to support. And some of the news this week, if you haven't already seen, you got 3 assistant coaches that are probably not coming back. At least one of them is not. 2 of them are not as of today. And you got, I think it was announced today, and if you're watching this, it was announced yesterday that Jalen Lowe is transferring, entering the transfer portal. And I give him his flowers for at least trying to come back and play, even with a dislocated shoulder. I'm sure that definitely sucks because I've had a shoulder injury, and they are not fun. They're hard to get back. I mean, just put it that way. It's hard to get that muscle build back, but when you got all the time in the world as a college athlete to do that and exercise and all that, I'm sure it's not that hard. But I give him his flowers. I mean, he tried to come back and play for us. He gave forth a lot of effort because he wanted to be there and he wanted to play. So kudos to him. It was because of him and why we come back and almost beat Louisville. So kudos to him. So looking forward, what I think we need next year is, I think you need to keep Diabate, you need to keep Chandler, you need to keep Noah and Moreno. And even BG, if he wants to stay. I think he might transfer. I think Diabate might transfer, but I would fight tooth and nail to keep him. He's a defensive presence that we need in the paint. I mean, Aberdeen, Oweh, and Quayton's are gone to the NBA. So I think you need to keep Chandler, Moreno, Noah, and Diabate. And I think you need to go out there and get you a couple of point guards. And if you keep Jasper Johnson, I mean, there's rumor that he might stay to prove himself to Big Blue Nation because he's not had the best of freshman season. I thought he was going to be another Rob Dillingham, and he showed flashes of it, but he never had a really consistent game. But I kind of hope he comes back just so we can see what he can actually do when he gets more experience under his belt. So who knows? Next season, if he does stay, he may blow our minds for all we know. I think you need to get a couple of point guards and you need to get a couple of transfer players that can score. There'll be a lot that will probably hit the transfer portal looking for money. And you need to get a couple of freshmen out of high school. We already have one commit, a 4-star. He's a point guard. He seems to be all right, but you never know until you get into college. High school and college is like day and night, especially when you get in the SEC. I don't care how physical your your high school conference is. The SEC is different. Guys are built different. Guys are tougher. Teams fight. I mean, it's the SEC. You thought they were rough in football. We're just as rough in basketball. And I think you need to get Stokes from Kansas. He seems to be a good player. I think Pope needs a good recruit. He hasn't had a very, a high-star recruit. He seems to play good. You never know until they're actually out there, but you need to throw the bag at him to get him. I think he'll be a good addition to the squad. And But you got to retain some of these guys because people are going to be offering people, whether it's under the table or not. I mean, just today they announced that, it's rumored that Chandler is 50-50 on coming back. He may want to go back to BYU. It's closer to his family. But I heard it in the post-game interviews. He's all in on Coach Pope, and I mean, he would like to continue to play for Kentucky and be back in March, and he's all in. He's ride or die, I think was the exact quote that he said. So we will see in the next coming weeks if he decides to stay or not. I hope he does. He's become a fan favorite. He's grown a lot. He's been a Mr. Reliable, Captain Clutch. And I hope he stays. I really do. Really, really do. I think he would be a good fill-in for what we're losing. So that's my thoughts on the season and thoughts on what I think we should get coming up next season in year 3. I think year 3 is a make or break for Mark Pope. And if he does bad this year, I think they will negotiate to let him go. I don't want that. I want to see him to do good. But we will have to see. I mean, he did hire the guy from BYU that helped put together his first team. He's the analytics guy that put together a pretty memorable team for Mark's year 1. So maybe he can do it again for year 3. All I can say is continue to support these guys. It's all we can do. We're BBN. We're the best fans in all of college basketball. And it's all we can do is support. So this will be the last episode for this season. Season 1 will end with this. And season 2 will pick up with basketball. I'll have a season, I guess, 1.5 in between. So during the summer, for those of you that do follow the TBT Tournament, the La Familia team, which is the Kentucky alumni team that plays in that tournament for $1 million, I will be covering that. When it does start, I believe it starts in either June or July. It starts in July, if I'm not mistaken. And as of right now, we will see the Harrison twins yet again for year 3 of La Familia. Hopefully we get Willie Cauley-Stein back and Khalil Whitney and Dorian Lamb and I forget who the other, Eric Bledsoe. Hopefully he will come back again. And who knows who they will sign? Who knows? It's fun to watch. It's something to watch in the summer. It's very unique. They play 4 quarters, and in the 4th quarter they do an average of the scores. They do an elim ending, which is pretty interesting. The first one to that told that the average of points wins the game, and it's one elimination game. So when you lose, you're out. Last year we lost a close one to the Auburn alumni, so that kind of stunk. But we made it to right before the championship game, so I will be covering that. It's fun to watch. You get to see guys play that used to play for the Cats, and it's the first time I watched it was kind of refreshing because I got flashbacks from the 2014-2015 team that went on that amazing undefeated streak until the Final Four. You got to see the Harrison twins and Willie Cauley-Stein do their thing, and it gave me some good nostalgia, I guess you could say. So I will be following the TBT Tournament, La Familia, and until they get eliminated, and then I will cut off from there. Hopefully they can win it this year. They've come close the past couple of years. The first year they made it all the way to the Final Four. And this past year, I think they lost in the I think it was the Elite Eight of that tournament. So I will be covering them. Check them out. It's pretty fun to watch. Even the games that Kentucky alumni doesn't play in, I mean, they're still fun to watch. Hopefully we'll get another rematch with the Louisville alumni team like we did the first year. It's pretty exciting. So, and I will be covering football season this fall. That was when season 2 will start, and I will continue season 2 even when we start basketball and football ends and basketball begins. I will be covering that, and it's year 1 of Will Stein, and we'll see what he can do. He talks of a lot of big game, and he had a pretty offense at Oregon. So we'll see what he brings to Kentucky in his first year. For those of you that probably already know, he was a Kentucky fan growing up. He did play for Louisville, unfortunately, because he could not get a scholarship at UK at the time. And now he's a head coach of his childhood team. That's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. So congratulations to him. Hopefully we can be the next Indiana and win a national championship in football. Maybe. Who knows? But it's year 1, and I'm excited to see how they do. I mean, it's the SEC. It's going to be a tough year. We got a brutal schedule. I think we play Alabama our second game. So, I think it's Alabama, A&M are back-to-back weeks. So, we will see what Coach Stein can do. And I will be at the spring game in April. So, I will try to do a show live from Kroger Field after the spring game, and I will give my thoughts on what I've seen. I mean, keep in mind, it's just a spring game. A lot of things can change. People can get hurt. People can change position or change, I guess, their seating and their strings, and we'll just see. Keep in mind, it's just a scrimmage, so I'm sure they will be going hard. They have talked like they have been playing like it's the regular season, just trying to see who's going to be starting and who's going to be coming in second string, third string. So they've talked very highly this week about them, so I'm excited to see what we can do. So hopefully we can feed the studs and get some wins and shock the world, put Kentucky football on the map. So we will see. So thank you guys for listening. I unfortunately do not have a L8. I ran out. So, but always remember, crack you a cold one. Trying to set up some things with the athletic department. I'm just waiting on a response to see if I can maybe interview some people. But we will see how that goes. And if I do, I will post an episode. So thank you guys for listening. I know this is kind of a lengthy episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The links will be at the end of the video. And Godspeed. And go Cats.
This is the Wildcat Zone!
What does the Wildcat say?